Pastor Raymond here during Passion Week at Redeeming Grace, Yankton, South Dakota. It's a strange Passion Week, isn't it? I've been hearing from some folks on Facebook in Israel concerning the Passover and the things that are going on there. And one Messianic Jew there was talking about how they, for the first time in history, have been kept from gathering on Passover. Not as a family so much, but an immediate family, but together and feasting and celebrating. He said it's the first time. Well, my mind went back to Exodus chapter 12, verse 22, when it says, "None of you shall go out of your house or outside your door until morning." So that was the first time, and now we're doing it again. Actually, they're doing it again. They were able to go out a little bit, but they're isolated, I think, even more than most of us or some of us in the United States. In the central United States, we have some freedom yesterday. It hit 70 degrees here in South Dakota, and people were out driving around, and yet taking a walk, people would still kind of go around you. We're keeping our distance. The church is being kept from gathered together as well. I went back into history and was thinking about the church during the Spanish flu. There was up to 3 years of the Spanish flu. There was at least 1.5 to 2. And at first they kept gathering, but then more people kept dying and they stopped gathering together, especially during that last Christmas. It was very hard for them. It was strange for them. And now we get a taste of that strangeness. This Passion Week is something, it seems like it shouldn't be happening this way. We should be gathering together and celebrating as the Lord did. When he raised from the dead, he went to the disciples that very night and he met with them for the next few nights, a few Sunday nights. Thus began the gathering of the church on Sundays. In Psalm 118, "For his mercy endures forever, let Israel now say, his mercy endures forever. I called on the Lord in distress," verse 5. "The Lord answered me and set me in a broad place. He allowed my heart to sing." That verse where he mentions that he will release you like a calf released from a stall. There's joy and freedom in Christ. And we are not feeling that or sensing that or experiencing that these days, it seems. I was listening to a pastor this morning, and he said, "I just can't help but talk about the reality of things." And we do have to talk about the reality of things. But at the same time, we have to talk about the hope and that God is still in control. What's interesting is with Psalm 118 is this verse. "For this is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." Was that a specific day or is that every day? Well, we claim that every day. When we were in the youth groups and back in the 70s, and we used to sing that. This is the day, and we can still sing that. I'm sure I just stuck that song in your brain for the rest of the week, I hope. I hope I have. Because watch this. This is the day the Lord has made. It's a specific day. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Say now, I pray, O Lord. O Lord, I pray, send now prosperity. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Well, where's that found? That's found at the end of Luke. That's found on the triumphal entry. That's found when Jesus is on a donkey coming into the kingdom. That's that day. That day started the Passion Week. That day was a few days ago. But that began the triumphal entry, which is still yet to be finished. We know that he came, he overturned the tables, and things happened during that week. They rejected him, and he had to die on a cross. This day is still to be completely fulfilled, but it has begun. So our joy is that Christ entered Jerusalem on that day, and there was a pre-announcement, if you will, of the king. And that's still coming. And so in this quiet time, let's give thanks. Let's rejoice together. He has set me in a broad place, a spacious place in my heart. And yet I'm going to be separated from all of the ones who come here to gather together. We're going to be separated, and yet in Christ we are not separated. And one day we never will again from Christ. In the millennium and then on. Actually, in the rapture and then on. Let us rejoice. And finally, it says, oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Again, he finishes this psalm the way he starts it. For his mercy endures forever. This Sunday, we're not going to be together. This Sunday, we can be together maybe by video. Maybe we'll call each other. Maybe you'll think of me and I'll pray for you as well. Those kinds of things. But this is so very temporary. And if you'll just seek him and you'll let him hear your voice, he will give your heart a spacious place, a comforted place, and you will rejoice and thank him for it, knowing that our hope is not finished. Our hope is not finished here. Our hope is in the unseen. It's the thing that's coming. But these kinds of things, these kinds of verses tell us that it has begun. Passion Week has begun, and it will be finished when Christ returns for you and his church. Be encouraged.